Welcome back to the Girl Yes and Amen podcast. I am so excited because today I have some of my best friends with me. We're going to have fun this episode. I have my girl Kenisha and my girl Molly. So let's get started, y'all. This is our Galentines episode. We're just going to answer questions today, make it fun, let it be conversational. Just have a conversation. So, y'all ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let me get this. Get the hat. The hat of all of our dreams and aspirations.
Are they all in there?
Or none of our dreams in here. Especially the topics that are in here. Like, this is literally none of our dreams. But I'll start and then we'll just pass it and just have girl talk. Because I feel like that's what people like to see. And that's what I like to see.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like to know people's opinions.
I do too. All right. So let's get... Are long distance relationships always doomed to fail?
I don't think so. I think some long distance relationships works out. It wouldn't work out for me, but there's plenty of people who are in long distance relationships or have been, and now they're living together, and so I think it can.
I don't know. I feel, yes, I agree. I think it can work. I think it depends on the person and like what you need from a relationship probably. I think back, like was in a long distance relationship in college. didn't work out the best. But I think the person it wasn't a good fit for, because I need someone around me. I need someone to kind of like reel me in. So I think it just depends on the person, what it is that you need from the relationship, the commitment. I think the commitment to that relationship is probably more important. I wouldn't say more important than other types of relationships, but the commitment and the boundary level and like trust is such a high level for a long distance that just takes a special kind of couple, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Because I feel like you think about even like military spouses, because they're technically long distance, and they're like, I feel like those are some of the most resilient relationships because they're gone for so long. So I'm like, doomed to fail? No, because they have someone like
my parents.
Yeah, your parents, because your dad was in the military. And and they've been married like
38 years.
Wow. That is amazing. I love your parents.
I think there's something too, like they say, like distance makes the heart grow fonder. Like there's something to that. It makes you appreciate them maybe a little more when they're not there all the time, and you take advantage of the time you have together. And I feel like I'm guilty of being complacent because like my husband's there all the time, or so maybe if he wasn't, maybe I'd be a little nicer.
I'm not gonna lie. I was over here like, John needs to go somewhere for a little bit. Like, he needs to go on so he can appreciate me, not me appreciate him. He needs to appreciate me. That's what I feel. But I'm gonna pass the hat. We're gonna pass it around, and y'all pull.
Okay, so this one is, are friendships just as important as romantic relationships? What do you think, Molly?
Oh, I get to start.
You do?
I think friendships are honestly more important than romantic relationships, personally. I think your friendships and the people you have in your life are really some of the most important people you have. I mean, that's you should absolutely have your partner, your spouse, as you go to. I mean, so you take on life with and have family with, but like, your friends are the ones. I go to my friends with stuff I don't necessarily always go to my husband about, just because like my friends can relate to it differently. So I think they're maybe even more important. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't think they're just as important, but I do think that they are important. But my man is my man, and that's like he's on a different level. But friendship is right there.
Yeah.
But it's not just as important as Kevin. Like,
right.
He's first.
That's how it's
supposed to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I agree with both of y'all, and I do think that there is an importance in having both because romantic relationship, obviously, we know that's important, but friendships fulfill an area that maybe, like you were saying, you tell your friends stuff that you might not necessarily tell your husband. And then along the lines, especially as women, when we have friendships with other women, women get women, obviously. Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff that men, they just don't get.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Agreed.
And you love them and they're your number one, but they don't understand. And so I know even with y'all, I come to y'all with stuff that if I told John, he would just literally be like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there is importance in having both. Kind of like spreading the love.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right, though. I mean, at the end of the day, Evan's my best friend for sure. Like through and through, he's my best friend. But yeah, I agree.
It's like right there underneath.
Right.
It's
under.
right there.
Right
under.
Because I would like to say that I'm like this close to Kevin, like behind Kevin and Evan, but you know.
Well, I definitely go to y'all a lot more about like you said, like topics that affect women, like if your feelings are hurt or whatever. I mean, I try to talk to Evan about it, but to your point, yes, like it's just different.
It's different.
Their perception is different. The way they are in the world is different, and so yeah, I get it.
And I also feel like they're not as. I don't want to generalize because some men are. At least my man isn't as emotional as I am.
Oh,
like,
it depends on the day.
Okay.
I mean, everybody, y'all know, I lead by my emotion. Unfortunately, it's not always a good thing. I'm so emotional. Wish I wasn't as much. But Evan has his days. Like, there's times when I'm like, you're more, like, emotional than I am. But I feel like it just depends on the maybe the topic. Is that how it is for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like John would probably say differently, but I feel like I'm always more emotional. He's not. He's kind. But as far as emotion, I don't know. I don't feel that.
Like, I think Kevin gets upset way more than, like, things make him, like, like she's more emotional faster than it would make me, like, certain things. So, I agree. Sometimes he is, sometimes I am.
Yeah.
So it's just always you.
I feel like it is always me. I mean, I'm just saying.
That's honest.
I don't know. He'd say differently, though, if he was over here. I know he would. Molly, you want to pull?
Yeah, I will draw. I feel like I get nervous reading in front of people. I feel like I'm in, like, second grade again.
That's how John is.
Okay. Is flirting with the opposite sex okay when you're in a relationship or married? Or married. Married. It says or marriage. I think it means or married.
Yeah. Is flirting with it? For me, it's a no. But I feel like y'all two are about to disagree with me. I don't know. I don't like. Listen, don't be flirting with my man because I'm coming for you. You flirt with my man, I'm coming for you. Like, but that's not answering the question. Do I think it's okay? For me personally, I'm like, it's a no. But have I ever flirted with somebody else outside? No, I'm perfect. But do not have your friends on your podcast. Y'all two,
I didn't say anything. I just smiled. I think flirting is, there's so many different perceptions and different definitions, and everyone's definition of flirting is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one thing too you have to think about is like what you perceive as flirting, your husband may not perceive as flirting, or vice versa. So I think it's understanding and respecting what your spouse or partner or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, like what their definition is to some extent. Like if it's absolutely outrageous, like you can't look at another look in the eyeballs of someone and be like, okay, that's a little crazy.
Can John look in the eyeballs of another? No.
Okay, so Bree's the crazy. Got it.
I was like, Mom, you're saying that. No, like don't be looking at her eyes.
Where is he supposed to look when he talks to someone?
Look at the floor, look at the ground, or look at.
Okay, if he does that at work, people are gonna think he's not like they're gonna think.
But the problem is now listen to Miss Molly. Here's the problem, because you know I think I told you a story about John will be at work and he just naturally is like all like super smiley. Which okay, to be fair, we have the same problem. We both talk to people and we're both like super smiley, and people perceive that as
flirty.
Oh, like both me and John have the exact same problem, both of us, and we're just literally just being friendly, and people will perceive it as more. And I've seen John in action. I don't know if he's ever seen me, but I've seen in action being friendly, and I can see. Obviously, we're women, we know, and I can see how they're perceiving it, like with his big white teethy smile and his big teeth. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, oh. Like, listen.
I think that's why the Cookie Man was flirting with you, because you were so nice when you went in there. And he probably took it as flirting. So when you came back, he thought there was something there.
Wow, Kenisha. Molly didn't know the Cookie Man, I don't think.
I didn't hear about the cookie
The
man.
Cookie Man, it was more recent. Every time Milan likes cookies, and every time from Bridge Street, and every time we go and take her to get them, or I go, when John goes, he's never there. When I go, he's there, and he literally, you can tell like he was trying to flirt, like he was, and I was like, Cookie Man, like I have a whole ring on.
With my
kids,
yeah.
And he literally gets like light. One time I came up, he literally lit up because I was coming in the door, and I was like, "What makes the Cookie Man think like this is a thing?"
Yeah,
it just shows how like being nice and friendly. Sometimes people take that as flirting.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Even when it's not.
I think that's a very good point. Very good point. I feel like I almost like when I'm out, I almost am rude to men, like almost intentionally, because I don't want there to ever be that like accidental idea that there's like even remotely, you know what I mean? So I feel like you almost have to be like rude in order, because as women, I think unfortunately it's just like if we go out in public and you're dressed up and you happen to smile at a man in the face, there's automatically this like, I have a fear like, oh, they're gonna think that no, I'm not, I'm just trying to be nice.
Right.
So, yeah, that's like a very good point. I don't know, this is a hard question.
Yeah, because I mean I've been out with both of y'all and have heard you be like, oh, thank you, especially you, because you're always like, thank you, and you like smile. I could definitely see somebody being like, oh, like, yes, 1,000%. I don't even think you even realize. Kenisha is like a little bit more reserved. Like, you'll say thank you, but you're on your way. But me and Molly, I feel like we both have that problem where we're like, we're really considering you, thank you, like, a whole face lights up thing where people are like, like she lit up when she looked at me. And we're just doing it to everybody. Like, it's a thing.
But y'all are pageant girls, and I'm not, and I think that just comes natural to y'all to be that way. Like, y'all are really, like, smiley and nice.
Yeah,
and
we're like, it's genuine.
Yeah, it's just genuinely how y'all are.
But people take it sometimes as like, oh, she wants me. And they're like, no, fall back. Like,
I don't even think I know how to flirt, to be honest, though. Like, I think if I was trying to flirt with somebody, I don't know if I would know how to do that, honestly. To be honest, like,
I feel like your natural self
okay, well,
could be perceived as flirtatious.
maybe I need to start working on that with, like, my own marriage. Like, flirt with your husband. I don't even know what that means. I feel like everything now is there's no mystery. It's like, it is what it is. So, like, there's not really any need. I don't know. Probably should work on that.
Do you flirt with Kevin?
Do I flirt with him? I don't know. It's been so long. I guess we're just naturally ourselves. Do y'all flirt with y'all husbands? Is that a thing?
No,
I don't know. Well, for me,
I feel uncomfortable. Like, if Evan tries to be flirty, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. Because I'm like, we've had kids, like, we sleep in the same bed. I don't really, like, you're working your game, but I know you're working your game, and so it makes me feel kind of weird, you know? Like, I'm like, you no need for that. Like, I know what you look like naked. Like, there's not any need for that.
No need.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
But I feel like John's flirty has never been actual flirtatious. It's always jokes.
yeah.
Like, and he'll say stuff like that if somebody was trying to be flirty, they would say, but it's funny because he's just being funny. So it just comes off as a joke anyway. It doesn't come off as like actual flirt. But you and Kevin, like, y'all, the way they conversate, she's so lying. Y'all be flirting. Like, y'all are
I
so.
kind of got that feeling.
They have this dynamic because they're like two of the most cool, like, swag people I've ever met. Like, they're dynamic in the way they talk. Like, she called him one day. We went to Crumble. And she called him. And she was like, babe, tell Brianna that story of whatever we were talking about. And Kevin was like, oh, yeah, babe. Because I was like they just flow. And they, like, the way they play off of each other and, like, their vibe, it's like a hot vibe.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I could be that hot. But me and John would just look at each other and just laugh. Like,
But I think that's, like,
Yeah.
everybody has their own, like, thing. Like, everyone has their own, like, comfort. It's how they interact. It's probably what drew you to each other in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
this is off script, but what was, like, your and Evan's thing that, like, drew y'all?
I can't say what drew him. I have no idea. But I think for me, Evan was just, like, our first date. I was so nervous because he's so quiet, and I was so afraid it was going to be the most awkward date of my life. And it wasn't. Like, we talked the entire time about, like, real things and, like, told me about his family. And, like, we just connected on such a, like, deeper level than I'd ever connected with anybody. But Evan, his granddad had a stroke, and Evan was 19 and was staying home to help take care of his granddad. So he actually would, like, stay with his granddad, like, 3 nights a week and, like, bathe him and help him go to the bathroom. And, like, it's actually why Evan decided he wanted to work in the medical field, is because of this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but for me, I remember thinking when he was, like, he's 19 years old and he's giving up, like, his Saturday nights and 3 nights out of the week to take care of his granddad. What a good heart he has. And I think that, honestly, was, like, he's such a good person, and that was what drew me in. And I'm not gonna lie, there were, like, 2 weeks later, I was like, God, he's such a good person, and, like, it was almost like slow your roll, like, I'm not so good, and you're really good, and this isn't gonna work. But that was, for me, what I was just like, wow, he's different, because I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know, at 19, if I would have done that. I don't know if I would have. So.
Yeah, so that's sweet. Y'all are both, so for you, I feel like her and Kevin are, like, all hot and sexy, and I feel like you and Evan are just so sweet and beautiful. Like,
well, I don't want to be hot and sexy.
I mean, I do too, but I feel like, I thought me and John, we have not
So what are you and John?
We ain't sweet or hot or sexy, so I don't know.
You're something.
Maybe we're kind. Well, no, I will say that me and John are very similar in the way that we'll do anything for anybody if we have the means to. We're both like that. Like, we'll go to the ends of the earth for anybody.
Well, I think that's like, I think we're, okay, so, like, you've got how y'all, like, connect and how you communicate and, like, feel each other. And maybe that's because for you, I think, like, acts of service and, like, acts of, like, love and, like, all of that is kind of how you feel so loved. And so that would make sense because that's how he fills your tank.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like he made you the crumble cookies from scratch the other day.
Kenisha is, like, the biggest John fan, so this is not going to work. Like.
But it just shows y'all act of kindness towards each other.
Yeah. And I go out of my way to always fulfill his Texas Day Brazil.
Exactly.
See? You thought
It's the acts of kindness.
For everything that he wants. That's very crazy.
That's so I think that's y'all thing. Y'all are both so kind.
Yeah, I guess. Right.
I felt like you were going to want another. There you go.
Okay. Let's see. Let's mix it around. This hat is, listen, I'm taking the time out for a sponsorship for this hat. It's a wonderful time because it's seen some things. Molly, do you not recognize this
I
hat?
thought it was from the bachelorette trip.
It is.
Yeah, I was going to say something, but I was like, nah.
From our other bestie, Harley, who's not on this episode. This hat is from her bachelorette. It's seen some things. If only this hat could talk.
I know, it feels like these questions are mild.
It does. Oh, okay, this one. Online dating, yay or nay?
It's nay for me. It's weird. I mean, I know.
If we were... Well, look at that. Drop it. That's okay. We'll just pick them up. You said, so why is it nay for you?
I feel like one of y'all met online. Now I feel bad. Did somebody meet online?
No.
I mean, well...
Oh, Facebook.
It's like... But it was an online dating, though. We didn't just...
It's still online, though. It's still online. You didn't meet face-to-face. So technically, that was our version of online dating. We were just old.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. But I feel like, as far as, like, swipe left, Tinder...
Yeah, like that type of dating. I think it's weird because when you're dating... Okay, so if you find somebody on there, you have to think like 20 other people just swipe... What is it? Swipe left if you like them?
That's a good point.
That's weird.
That's
and
weird.
how many more people did you go out on a date with? Like, if we go
Exactly.
to meet... How many other times did you do this week?
Exactly. But see, y'all know me. I'm territorial. So I don't care. Like, if I found out you went on a date with somebody else and it wasn't just me, which is probably fair that you're
I
dating
was going to say,
whatever.
if you're just going on
I
one
know,
date,
but I'm still, y'all know me. I have problems.
That's not a problem. I think you know very much, like, that's what you expect.
Yeah.
It's your expectations.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be the only one.
I feel like that's a little unrealistic if you're dating and like you've been on one date and you're like, hey, we've been on one date,
But,
and
like-
you're not allowed to even look at another girl, and you're basically gonna get married to me. So like that's a little like.
But I want, like, that person to be like, okay, or I'm going on a date with this girl and I want to see where it goes with just this girl. Like, I don't want
But after the first date, they're supposed to know that.
I mean, no, I want them to go on the date and then see.
Okay. Did you ever date other people and talk to more than one guy at the same time?
I mean, this podcast isn't about me.
It is.
But it is.
But it is.
Actually, okay, so yes, but I feel like it wasn't serious. Like
a first date isn't serious. I'm sorry, it's still.
I know, but I'm just thinking about like when John took me on the first date. There is, if I would have found out he took out another girl like the weekend before or the weekend after,
You would have felt the way.
I would have felt away.
See, my thing is, I think when you're casually dating, like she said, like you can't really expect that when you're casually dating. But if you're online, because the question is about online dating, I will already know in my mind that you've done this. Like, I'm not the first person you met on the site that you went out on a date with. So how many more is it? And that's just weird. But I feel like if I was walking in the store and I met somebody and we agreed to go out on it, that's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's different. Online dating to me is just weird.
Weird. But then, is that because we're older?
Probably.
Probably.
And we didn't have that. I'm gonna lie. If I was like 22 or 23 and didn't have, you better know, swiping left all day long.
But I have friends my age that date.
And do they
online
do
date? I meant.
They
yeah,
do.
I have like really close friends who be online dating. I would never do it. I mean, some of them went on dates and everything.
But I know that if I was single right now, I could see myself. Wait, no, I couldn't.
I don't know. Now that I'm the age I am, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I don't have to, hopefully, ever have to do that again.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think that's any of our like vibe, like what we like. We're no.
I think if I was single, though, I feel like that it's hard to meet people nowadays. So I feel like if I were single, I would be single forever. Because everyone does meet online. So if I were single, how would I ever meet anyone to put myself out there? I live in a small town.
But I think, like you said, that I think Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that is different than, like you said, Tinder. So I feel like if you still had your Instagram and stuff, and like somebody slid in your DMs, sliding in the DMs is different. And I think it's okay to meet people that way. But I'm not jumping on Tinder.
I wouldn't jump on Tinder, but I know if I was single, I'd be sliding.
ChristianMingle.com. Ain't that the name of that dating site?
You think I'd be on Christian Mingle?
If I had to pick one for you.
Christian Mingle? No, I'll be sliding in some NFL players' DMs, Kenisha, okay? Everyone's going to watch this and be like, we thought you loved Jesus. But I do.
You can love Jesus and love NFL players, too. Like, there's no rule that says you can't do both.
There are NFL players that love Jesus. So
there are. Lots of them.
Lots of them.
Lots of single ones.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I would be like, y'all, I'd be telling Molly and Kenisha, guess who I got a date with next week? Guess who's flying me out? And y'all would be like, girl. Molly would be like, what are you doing?
I know, I'd be like, hey, he's got a friend? What are you talking about? I'd be, but I'm not single, so I can't join that.
And you're not either. So
I'm not either. I'm just saying if I was.
John's going to be checking to see what NFL players you follow.
None. Literally none. I don't even think I follow any men except for y'all's husbands. That's it. All of our friends' husbands. That's the only men I follow.
Wow.
I think. Oh, no, besides
pastors.
I was going to say, that's really, wow.
Besides, like, pastors and stuff, I think, or guys that I knew in college that, like, followed me, added me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, those are, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are men.
Those are men.
They count. They check a box. They count.
I mean, but I'm not following, like, random NFL players.
I do, so I can't say anything.
You do?
Yeah, like not random, but like if I like their team.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I get that.
Or they played for a college team and I like
okay, that
them.
makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I'm talking about, I'm not following ones like to date. I mean, obviously.
I'm not looking at them like lusting.
I know, yes. You're doing it in the normal way. Like, oh, they play for this team. I'm like, yeah, I like that.
I wouldn't go for an NFL player anyways. That's not my vibe. So that's not that's just not my thing.
What's your vibe?
I don't know, but it's not that.
All right, y'all, some hat time.
Okay. Jealousy when it comes to love, is it justified?
We know Free's answer for this one.
So,
what do you think? Yeah, you start.
Yeah, I mean, I think you want your spouse to be a little jealous sometimes. Who doesn't want to feel like their spouse is jealous? Like, you want that feeling because that makes you feel like, I don't know, more wanted and appreciated. Mm-hmm. So I think justified, what do you mean by justified?
So, I don't know either. It was just like a random question. I mean, for me, so you're saying, like, you actually flipped it from what I was thinking, because I was thinking in my head, is it justified to feel like jealousy if they're, I don't know, somebody else's, like, not being flirtatious, but kind of, I don't know, up in their face.
Of your spouse?
Oh, of your spouse. Oh, yeah.
Oh, like you're jealous of his attention to someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, like, okay. So you're saying, like, would I be jealous if I saw Kevin, like, in another woman's face?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be justified.
I feel like that type of jealousy is justified.
I thought it was asking, like, yeah.
I think it's either way, actually.
I went left.
No, I like where you took it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're saying...
But that's a good thing, because it could be harmless, but that would make him feel better, because he knows that I care. Like, I don't want you all in somebody else's face.
So, I don't know. I like how you said that you care. I think that's a good point. I think when there's a lack of it, I don't think overwhelming jealousy is a good thing. I think that's usually a sign that there's some deeper things that needs to be worked through. But I do think to say that you care, that's a good point. I feel like if there's no like jealousy or not, like, then you almost like is there indifference? Like, do they care at all?
Yeah, because why don't you?
Yeah.
Did you not just see that?
Mm-hmm.
It's just
hello.
But where is that line? Because I feel like John is the type to be very conservative about how he feels. Like, he might be feeling it in the inside, but he's not going to outwardly show it. So, like, a man could step to me in front of him and visibly flirt with me, and I feel like he is going to just not... He might feel some type of way, but he's not going to verbalize it. Mm-hmm. And I kind of want him to verbalize it. But then that might be wrong, because it is, to an extent, good to be, like, unbothered, handle yourself.
Maybe he trusts you, and that's why he doesn't show any type of, like, reaction, is because he's like, I trust her. I know that there's not going to be anything from this. So, like, yeah, she's beautiful. Yeah, she's hot. I get it. I would flirt with her too, but, like, she's not going to let this go anywhere.
Yeah. But like what Kenisha was saying, sometimes you do want your person to be like...
Yeah.
You still want him to show a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not, like, overbearing, like you said, because that's when it gets weird. But just a little bit. It just shows some emotion that he cares. Even though I know John cares, but he may not just express it verbally.
Differently, yeah. So if a guy saw, like, if Evan was out and he saw a guy, like, trying to flirt with, like, it was no question, he was flirting with you. Mm-hmm. Would Evan say something, or would he just say something to you?
I actually don't know. I feel like with our relationship and our history, like, that's such a... like, jealousy and, like, that whole thing is, like, something we're very careful about, just because of, everything. So I don't know. I don't ever get hit on. So I honestly, and I'm serious. So, like, I can't give you an example of that. Like, I can't tell you a time a guy hit on me in front of Evan ever. But truly.
Well, I'm thinking too. I don't think have I been hit on in front of John? Like, that's a...
I don't know.
Have you been hit on in front of Kevin?
No, not directly, like, in front.
Yeah.
That would be rude.
That would be rude. That would be pretty bold.
I feel like people might do that.
Have you been hit on when Evan wasn't there? And when Kevin wasn't there?
When he wasn't there?
Yeah.
No, not really.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so pretty.
Yeah.
You're sweet, but no.
You're literally gorgeous. Like, I don't believe that for a second.
Okay, well, I'm just being, like, unless it's, like, at the gas station, I'm walking in, some old man with no teeth says something, like, that, I get that
We all have
That's
those.
about it for me. Yeah, those are the ones I get.
Pretty.
Well, you're very sweet, so are y'all, but I need some whatever y'all have going on, because I don't get that.
That might be a good thing, Molly, because it probably means, I don't know.
That I give a very strong RBF. I think that's
They
it.
might be scared. Like, they want to hit
it's
on
like
you,
she is
but
rude.
they're scared.
I don't think it's that. I think she's like, yeah, she is not
But
nice
you
person.
do that too.
I do.
Yeah,
like,
until you're, like, talking to you.
Yeah,
but
until I open my mouth.
Yeah, you look like that too.
But see, that's the thing. So it's probably, because I feel like I'm a mix of y'all two. I feel like when you go out, men flock to you. I just get that, Kenisha. And I feel like what Molly's saying, I feel like I'm in the middle, because it's like, I'm definitely a Molly. Mm-hmm. My face is like...
Yeah, your face.
Don't. Like, yeah.
I could be thinking rainbows and butterflies in my head.
Yes, but it's
like,
just our face.
Yeah.
Like, but then I do get, like, if I have to speak and I'm like, oh, thank you for that. Mm-hmm. Like, what we were saying earlier with me and Molly, our face brightens smile and they're like, oh, like, you know. But if I never said anything, I'm not getting hit on.
Yeah. But every time I've been out with you, like, anytime we go anywhere, I don't care where we're going, I think at least one person has told you you're beautiful. Like, every time we go out. Every time. Gas station, restaurant, whatever. So
Was I opening my mouth?
I mean,
No.
I don't know. We've been places where I don't think you've really had, like, you weren't, like, openly, like, overly, like, friendly. Like, I think you were just there, and people have said, oh, you're so beautiful. So I feel like you probably would get it more than...
You do that.
Yeah.
I told you, like, when I go to meet you, you're always first. I'm always late at a restaurant, and when I be like, my friends here, and they be like, the tall, pretty one.
Oh.
Yeah, I tell you that, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
The tall. Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna miss me. I'm going in the room. But, I don't know. I feel like jealousy is, it's a fine line of where you walk in a relationship. Molly, you want to pull?
Yeah, I'll pull. Move on to the next. I feel like agree. Is there a difference on how genders handle breakups?
Well, we don't know because we're all women.
That's a good point.
But from what we see, you can answer that.
Well, no, let's talk about different types of breakups. Are we talking about like dating, like a divorce? Like we've got different levels of breakup too, right? Because we're in different stages of life. Like it's how we handled breakup when we were 18 is going to be different than if we got divorced today. Completely different situation. And
then we haven't been divorced, so we don't know how we would handle it versus our spouse.
Yeah. I mean, we got pretty close, so I can speak from that experience. But I think from us, I mean, yeah, I think we both handled it. I don't know. I don't think we either one of us like really saw each other handle it, right? Like I think we were both so trying to like deal separately that I mean everybody else saw that I was like that I was emotional and all the things, but I don't know. I don't know if I think gender handles it differently. I think like the personality and their heart and how they feel towards rejection or like hurt. I feel like that and like what needs to be fed. Like what is the part of you that's hurting the most and how do you heal that part or how do you feel or how do you fill the hole? I think that is how people handle heartbreak. And like, are you going to do it a healthy way or are you going to do it in an unhealthy way? Right? Quickly to get the validation and like find someone quick to fill that, or are you gonna do what you have to do to fill this? Yeah,
I agree.
I do too, but for sure when we were younger, y'all know when we were like high school, college, I feel like the girl cares more than the guy.
I think.
Now, for me personally, I can't speak on that because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I've never been broken up with. I've always done the breaking up.
Can't say that.
Like I've never had that moment. Y'all know and this is probably ain't even real, but on movies where they break up and they're like, oh, they're eating ice cream and they're like, I gotta eat my feelings. I've never had that moment. So I'm like, you were dusty anyway.
Yeah.
Like I really haven't. Like I've always, and whenever my friends broke up or they got broken up with, I was always like, and you're bad. So
yeah.
Bye.
I think the thing with heartbreak though is that you have moments where you feel that you find yourself feeling that like I'm gonna be okay or I know I'm bad or whatever. Clearly I don't use that word.
You're bad.
But I feel like you also have moments where it's just human nature to feel hurt and to feel rejected and feel all those things. So like I think it comes in waves. And again, I can only speak from I definitely was broken up with in high school and in college. And obviously in my marriage, we had whatever. And I can say that there's just waves of heartbreak. Like there are going to be days where you feel in yourself and you want to go out and you flirt with everybody that talks to you. And like, you're like, yeah, it's his loss. And then the very next day, you're going to be, can't get out of bed. And that is heartbreak. And that is just real life. That's truth. That's just how it is. Now, how a man handles that versus a woman, I think that solely is what kind of person they are. So.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree with everything she said.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's different. I don't know. And when I was saying though, I'm speaking off of when I was younger though. Mm-hmm. But to me, none of those relationships were serious.
Yeah.
And none of those relationships were love to me. Mm-hmm. And I can genuinely say that.
That's probably the difference.
And that's the difference. Because I know if it was me and John, I could say, putting myself in that, I mean, you don't know until you're in a situation, but putting myself, at least in my mind in that situation, I know like it would be hurt.
Oh, it would be more than hurt. It would
Because-
be devastation.
Right.
Yeah.
Because for number one, I actually love John.
You have a family together.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And those other, to me, like children, it didn't mean anything. That's why it was easy to just.
Because you and John have been together
Since I was 19.
long. Yeah, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about that too, since I was 19. Anything before 19 was child's play.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a child. I mean, you're young. You don't know what we know in our 30s.
Yeah.
So, I have a question to that, though. That's an interesting point. So, true, yes. I think that love matures and you mature, and so your relationships are different. But I do think there is, like, most people had their first loves when they were, like, in high school or young, right? Like, you've had that first love. Does that mean that first loves aren't real and they're not as important or as true as, like, a love you have when you're older?
I do think. What do you think?
I think
Kenisha?
they're important because I had my
Yeah.
first love in high school and that breakup felt real. It was
real. It was.
And I was so sad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was real. And I still consider that my first love.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I think but of course now, me and Kevin, it would be so different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we have a family and everything
Mhm.
else. But, yeah, it still hurts. It
Yeah.
still felt,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, weird. I know who my first love was, but he cheated on me. And I was just like, boy, bye.
Well, good for you for being like, boy, bye. Because I got cheated on twice in high school, and I was the girl that, like, my heart was just so. I wish I had the, like, self-worth at that age that I had now, because I was just, like, went back and all the things. And so, yeah. I wish I was as strong as you were when you were a teenager.
I think I was only strong because I knew he was a buster. Because he literally cheated on me with a girl named Brianna.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's like, really? Like, what were you trying to do? Like, trying to have twins or something? I don't know. And then it would be weird because even there was people that knew him that would tell me, like, oh, he used to date this girl. You know what? Y'all kind of look alike. And I'm
That's
like,
weird.
and I know her. To this day, I know her. We're actually friends. I know what she looks like. And I'm like, I don't see that. I think she's gorgeous. I don't think we look alike. But for whatever our personality vibe we give out was similar. And
That's weird.
That is weird.
but joke was on him because, again, we're friends to this day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, his loss.
Yeah.
Your
He
turn.
lost both of us.
There you go.
Let's see. Our dating, no, we're not going to do this one because it kind of is similar to the online one that we did. I feel like we answered that. Did y'all put these back in here?
No, not mine.
We'll get this. I'm like,
Here's mine. I think you were putting yours
oh no, Kenisha, because I balled mine up. What role does TV play in shaping our perceptions of love?
It's a good question.
That is a good question. Oh, and I'm gonna let y'all start because I talk too much. But I feel like I have an answer.
Well, I mean, I think as children, right, we emulate what we see. I think that's just real. That's like human nature, and like that's how kids. That's just how we are as humans. So I think that it obviously plays a part, right? I think the role models you have in your life and the relationships you have in your life, I think those are probably more important.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that like television and like music and like what we let our kids see, like, and as people, right? I think it definitely plays a part. But I think as an adult, right, Instagram, Facebook, you gotta be real careful because you see all these other people in their relationships and you see that. And it's so easy to think, oh, well, they're so happy. Why am I not? They don't have fights. We do. So I think it kind of relates to that as an adult, right? Like we see this and we're like, it makes us think that is what our relationship is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we all know social media is not real. And usually the very ones that you think are so happy are
They're
usually
not.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
then with TV, it's hard to remember that it's not real. Even the reality shows,
Oh, they're
not,
so
it's not
scripted.
real.
Yeah.
Like, some people watch The Bachelor or whatever they be watching in hopes of like that. But a lot of them don't even last because it was for TV. Just like how the TV shows or the movies are. But that's just what you want. And so you chase that in real life, forgetting that it's just not real.
Yeah, it's just television.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that. I feel like television, like you were saying, music, movies, all of it, they, how you perceive, it's really, to me, I feel like it's more aimed at those that don't know. I feel like we've got so much life experience now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in your teens and you're seeing, what's that movie that we love, Molly? It's on Netflix. And they're in high school. To All the Boys.
Oh,
have you seen that?
Yeah, it is a cute movie, but you're
It's
right.
so cute. But stuff like that shapes your perception of what your relationship should look like.
Mm-hmm.
Or your boyfriend should be like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, baby, it's not like that. He is not bringing you roses every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just not realistic.
But is that what happened in the movie?
No, but it's so like
extra. Everything's extra.
Yeah. And so like, oh, just romantic. Because here I am,
It's
a grown
the rom
woman.
com. Yeah. It's the
Yeah,
rom-com, right,
which
right.
I love rom com. But as a grown woman, even watching it, like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
First of all, this is not realistic. Second, I'm grown.
Mm-hmm.
And third, like, come on. Because even when we were in high school, our boyfriends were not. It would have been nice, but
No.
no. So I feel like they just almost aim younger teenagers, youth, or whatever, to be like, oh, this is how it should be.
Are they gonna be bursting through the door, kissing and
Yeah.
taking off, and then it's just
Oh
like,
yeah.
how often is that just like happening?
Yes. Yes.
Kick down the door, throws off the jacket.
Yes.
It's just like, it's so
And then they like scoop each other up and
Yeah.
they're making out, like, or the make out scenes in the rain. Molly,
I don't want to
have
be
you
kissing
made out?
anybody.
I was about to say,
No.
have y'all made out with y'all?
The
in
worst
rain?
is like when they're. I mean, the rain. Like, oh, I could kind of maybe get with that. The ones I can't get with are like the beach. The girl, I don't like sand anywhere, so
Oh,
that one I
yeah.
don't understand. The one where they're like making out underwater, you can't breathe.
You can't
So like,
breathe.
who actually does that? And if you do, that's odd. So
But
you
some
know,
people set out to find that, and it's just so unrealistic.
yeah,
I would literally be choking. Like,
there's nothing cute about that.
no.
I'm worried about living. So can you like give me air? I'm not worried about kissing you. you
Right.
know?
Or the Spider-Man kiss.
No, we've tried that.
The
It's
upside
not
down.
do it for me.
No, Molly actually tried
I
it.
tried it. I made Evan try it. And I was like, this is not working for me. So it's there.
I tried it.
I was curious. I was like, let's just see what this is like. It's odd. I don't like it.
I'm gonna go home and tell Kevin to try the Spider-Man.
Just say, hang upside down off this couch real quick. Let me just try. And I'm going to lay down here too. That's what you do. Then you just try it.
You know, I'm gonna try the rain one.
Yeah. At the rain, I could get with. Like if you're like in, like you're out and about and it just starts sprinkling. I don't want like down, well maybe.
No,
I did
it's
go to a
always
concert.
downpouring.
I did go to a concert when I was in high school with my first love. And we went to a concert and it started pouring down rain. Like I'm talking about, y'all, I was soaking wet. We had to go buy new clothes. And we stayed at the concert and we like danced and like, it was actually like a really very sweet memory. Like it's a very sweet, not that like we don't even talk anymore, but like very sweet memory. It was very like, so I could kind of see. Like it's so spontaneous. You don't want it to end. Like I could kind of get that.
I'm not standing out in the rain and kissing anybody because I'm not messing up my hair.
I get that.
Especially because it'll revert. If it's straight, it's going to go back curly. I mean, it's a lot of things are going to be happening.
I do have to say though, like the Notebook, you know, the scene where it's like raining.
Yes.
He's like, it's always been you. I do
Oh,
love
yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that movie ruins
That movie
every
is
woman.
romantic. But then it even goes into old age and it's so realistic.
It's
like,
so sweet. But can I just say, let me just be honest. To your point, what woman, if she's out in the rain, is not gonna have makeup down to her chin? Like she's not gonna be cute. Like
No.
right,
Me.
okay, except for her, she's gonna look beautiful.
we know.
I'm gonna look like a dog.
Me and you.
So
Me and you.
yeah,
Y'all know with all this makeup, my hair would be half straight, half curls, makeup down my face. I'd be ugly. John would be like, what is wrong with you?
no, he wouldn't.
No,
No, he wouldn't.
not John.
But maybe the cookie man if it was him. Is it you, Kenisha?
Do you believe in love at first sight? Brianna?
Me? Oh my gosh, the honor. Absolutely not. Because I feel we talked about this a little bit before we started, but definitely 1000% is lust at first sight. Cause like hey, I feel like love comes from experience with the person and, going through things and learning the person and all of that. You do not know. I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's another, like, movie moment. Like,
Yeah,
100%,
in a
yeah.
movie.
please. Now, if you do look at somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, that's lust. You're like, oh, they're gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with love.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are talking about something, I'm in love with this person I just met, no, you're not. No, you're not.
I think you can have a really big connection with someone, like this unique connection maybe
True.
that you haven't had. But again, is it love? Probably
Probably
not.
Probably not. That is true though. A connection. You could have
Connections are real. I think
Yeah.
those do exist. I think you can have a connection that pretty quickly.
An immediate connection.
Agreed.
Mhm.
But I don't love you.
Yeah.
There's something here. Like I feel
Yeah.
it. There's something here, but it could be love,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not love yet. Agreed with
Right.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Pros and cons of office love.
Let's talk about it because none of us have, like, unless Molly's got a secret story for us. I feel like you have secret stories for us.
No, I don't have it.
What do you mean by office love?
Like, do you think it's okay to have a relationship with, like, if you had worked an office job and
or any job? I didn't have
or
an office
any job with a coworker or a boss or
Like, what are your thoughts of dating a coworker?
When my ex and me dated, and he was in IT at Verizon, and it just, when it was over with, I didn't want to work there anymore, which I ruined a really great job, because that's a great job, and I quit because it didn't work out. But me and Kevin met at work, and it was awesome, and we're still together. And we're going on 8 years, so.
Look at you having a pro and a con.
Yeah, so sometimes it doesn't work out, and it's awful because I quit the job, and that's a great job, but with Kevin, that's my baby.
Oh, that's sweet.
You're so cute.
What about y'all? What do y'all think about working with coworkers? I do think it could be bad though. So
I don't
I
know.
don't know either.
A lot of companies like won't allow you to, which I think almost makes it people want to because
Yeah.
you say you can.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have experience, so like I can't really bring a lot to the conversation.
I don't have experience either.
I do think there's a higher rate for people to end up with people they work with or cheat with people they work with, but just because you're around each other more and you're usually, I mean, you're at work more than you're at home.
you see that a lot though. People cheating on their spouses at work.
But let me add to this. Let's add to this conversation. What are y'all's opinions on work wife, work husbands?
And
I don't get
I
down
used to
with that.
see that a lot, and I don't like that.
I don't either.
I mean, I've never had that, but
Me neither, but I'm saying like
I've never had it. I would see it though. People
Yeah.
who are literally married, but at work, they'd be like, "That's my work
Yeah.
husband or my work." That's so wrong.
I think it's wrong.
yeah, I'm sorry if my husband came in and told me he had a work wife, I'd be pretty pissed about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
But it's a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
people
a
do
thing.
that.
Like people will literally be like, "Oh, that's my work husband. That's my work
Mhm.
wife."
Mhm.
Oh, my husband is okay with it. He knows Sally. Like, no. I wish
Just
y'all
because-
would.
Just because you know someone doesn't mean you know them. Doesn't mean you know, like,
Right.
everyone can look a little better after you've been together for 8 hours or 12 hours
Yes.
a day, you know, and you're going through the same thing. And that's the reality of, like, I think that's what we have to think about at work is, like, you really do spend more time at work than you do with your family, which is so sad, but it's true.
Mhm.
So you have to think about, like, they're going through experiences and going through things with your partner that you're not, and they have that connection already. So you have to be so careful because there already is a connection there that you do not have with your partner
Mhm.
because they go, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you just have to be careful.
I feel like, because, I feel like that openly calling someone your work husband or work wife is an open door. You are literally opening the door because, we do this podcast like from a Christian perspective. You're opening the door for Satan. You're giving him an inch and he'll take a mile. Because if you're over here and you're agreeing to this, whether your spouse knows about them or not, we know that a husband or a wife, there's a covenant, there's a bond. And you're calling this person, whether you're at work or not, so what are you sharing with this person? Because it might start off as, oh, we share a desk or we share files, but then we're sharing conversations and you're going to that person about your spouse, you're opening a door.
Mhm.
And I'm like, no, we're not opening doors over here and cracking them up because you're just
But I think that's with anything, not
Yeah.
just with work. I think that's at the gym, that's at the
That's
club
true.
you're in,
That's true.
that's anything. If you're allowing that connection to be deeper than with your partner, then
Right.
you're opening up a door.
Right.
And you know, if you're ever in a place where you can't show your spouse a conversation or you can't talk about what you talked about with somebody else, then that you're putting yourself in a position that absolutely could escalate. If you have a bad day, your husband isn't showing you attention, and we've all been there. You and I talked about this before. Like, I get it. I get how it happens. Like, you go through seasons in life where you're struggling, or you have babies, and like you don't feel appreciated, and someone comes along and makes you feel appreciated. I totally get how easy that is. But if you already have those doors open, it makes it so much easier. So I agree with you completely.
I agree. No. Let's see. Let's do one more. Okay, good.
You have to announce that you're doing your last question.
Yeah.
Let me I don't know. This is good. Okay, I think this is a good one. Alright, so we're going to do the last question of the sailor hat, the precious sailor hat that Harley is not here, but this is Harley's presence right here in this bowl.
Her presence.
Her presence in this hat. But we're going to do the last question. It's been so much fun hanging with my girls. So we're going to do this one, and I think we'll close out. We're going to definitely have to do a part 2. Y'all got to come back on.
Gotta spice your
Because this is
questions.
definitely spicier.
Yeah.
Y'all are too much fun, which I already knew that. I mean, duh. Y'all are like two of my best friends, but still. So can a platonic friendship impact a romantic relationship negatively?
Yeah, so isn't that kind of like what we were just talking about?
I mean, kind of.
I mean, without calling it a work husband or a work, or something like a casual friend. Can a friendship
Yeah,
interfere with your relationship,
yeah,
right?
kind of, but let's like switch it up. Could like a platonic relationship with like your girl best friend impact your relationship with your spouse?
That's a powerful question.
You know me, bringing the power.
I don't think that it should. I don't think I don't think it should cross at all, but I do see how it could. I mean, I guess it just depends. I don't know, Molly. Help.
She's like Molly
I'm
Lifeline.
drowning.
I don't know. I think it could. I think anyone can influence you. I mean, we're all, like, we all have days where we're not our best. And, like, I know me. Like, there are days where I'm, like, strong in my foundation. I've prayed. I've had my coffee. And I'm like, no one's going to sway me today. And then I have days where I'm struggling. My maybe mental health is really low or whatever. And I am swayable easily. So I think it could absolutely. I think when you're around people a lot, you do pick up other people's, like, sayings or how they act or their attitudes. It's so easy. And so, like, I could see how, like, if you're hanging around a person who isn't, like, maybe you have a friend that you love, but maybe she's not the best influence on you for whatever reason. You may love her, but maybe she's in a different season of life or, like, whatever. Maybe she's going through her single phase and you're not. And some of that is, like, rubbing up. I don't know. But I could see how it could. I could see how it could. Because, I mean, we all are influenceable. Even the most grounded person has the ability to be swayed. So
I agree. But then even to
I was just gonna say though, I think a lot of times more so friends may get jealous once a friend gets into a relationship. So it can impact it that way, I think. Like a friend may be jealous of your newfound relationship or something like that. I think that more often happens. Like the friend feels like ever since you got with this person, such and such. So that happens.
I have 2 stories on that. That was what I was going to say. So I was going to say from that aspect, I had a friend when I first got with John, you know what I'm talking about, and she was kind of like, you spend all your time with him, like you're always with him. And I'm like, girl, it's my man. Like, yeah, we're friends, but that's my man. It's completely different because we talked about dynamics earlier, and our man is right here, and then our friends are right here. But she's like, basically was jealous of the amount of time I spent with him versus what I used to spend with her, and I was like, yeah, I was single.
Yeah.
Like, that's different.
Yeah, I think that's hard too, because I think, again, it's like different phases of life, right? Like when you're young and like you're dating or whatever, it's hard. Because I remember being in college, like, and having a boyfriend, and my roommate and I, like, she wasn't the biggest fan of my boyfriend, but we spent so much time together, and I started dating, and kind of the same thing. She was like, you know, he's here all the time, you're always with him. And so I remember feeling guilty a lot and having to feel like I was having to like actively put an effort to like separate my time. So, you know, but I think I was also 19, 20 years old, and we, at that point, it was Evan, but at that point, like, we weren't as serious. So I felt what am I trying to say? Like, I needed to give her effort and needed to pour into that friendship because I was still young, and I may not marry him, and I don't want to lose my friend because of whatever. But now I'm married and have a family, so I think it's different because he deserves that. You know? So, I don't know. But I see your point.
And I feel like I'm agreeing with you because, like, you were saying this with Evan, and with me, it was with John, and these are the men that we married. And I know that even in my case, like, I knew the trajectory was it was definitely deeper than anyone else I'd been with. Like, it was more seriousness to it. Yeah. So it was like, why am I going to neglect? I mean, your friend should be understanding at the seasons that you are in your life. And you just know when your friend first gets in a relationship, especially a good one, you're like, oh, I won't see her for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month or whatever. I mean, but that's just being grown.
But I think that's being grown. I think that's the thing. You have maturity now where you can have that perspective. I think when you're young and you've been like, we went through the phase where like we went out every night and like, you know, all that. So like she didn't have me to go out with her every night. And like I think there's some of that too of like, where's my girl go? I have to go to the bar by myself. And I think there was like a little bit of that piece too. Like she was single, she was still having fun, and if I went out, he went with me, and of course like that's not as much fun. Right. So like I think there's the perspective and the maturity was just not there. Right. Yeah.
I agree. You have a story.
No, I can't relate.
Well, you know what? You go, girl. That's just because I was always accepting of your relationships, Kenisha. Especially with Kevin, so. You know, I never said you're spending more time with Kevin than with me. Even though it was quite obvious. No, I'm just kidding. I love Kevin. I'm just playing. And Evan. Evan's my bestie.
He's a good guy.
But yes, so I think those are all we're going to answer for this episode. We're definitely, y'all, I'm going to have my girls back. I'm going to add to the crew too. Maybe we can try to pull my girl Harley in. It's okay if she doesn't want to come. That's okay too. But I'm so excited that y'all came and joined me today for Girl Talk. It was so much fun.
So fun.
So much fun. But y'all know we're having a part 2. And I'll have my mics and all that set up.
We didn't say nothing about Jesus.
I did say something about Jesus. I said, well, you know this podcast is Christian-based, and we're not letting any open doors with Satan. I also said people are going to think that I don't love Jesus because I was talking about NFL players sliding their DMs.
And I said you can like NFL players and love Jesus too.
Okay, yes, Jesus,
but
we included.
We did, but that's okay because we're going to close it out with a prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. So, y'all want to pray? Molly,
Kenisha. I'll let you do it.
That's all right, but we're going to close it out with a prayer, and then we will end this podcast. Lord, we thank you for this time that we got to come before your throne and come together as friends and enjoy each other's company. Lord, we know that iron sharpens iron, and it was so beautiful having 2 of my best friends that sharpen each other and then a couple behind the camera. It was an amazing time, and we thank you that you were in the midst. We know you were in the midst. We felt your anointing flowing in your presence, and I pray if anybody's watching this, that they are able to experience, lighthearted fun in you, because we know that you are awesome, you're amazing, you're magnificent, Alpha and Omega, but you're also a God that likes to have fun. So we thank you, Lord, we thank you, Jesus, for the time that we spent in friendship, and we thank you, Lord, because we know we're not meant to do life, Father God, alone, and that you have blessed us with friendships in our lives so that we can enjoy each other's company in and through you. We thank you for the time we spent together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.